And we made it. We are live, and I know that this broadcast is working. Thank you so much, Facebook, for being available to us today. And I am Lorrel Elian. I'm creator of From Passion to Profit. I am a business coach with a therapy background, and I'm fascinated with people. My therapies have all been involved with working in the body, and today I have the beautiful Janis Isaman on with me. This is a beautiful person, a body worker, a therapist that I have known for some time, a few years, and I was introduced to Janis through Yamana Body Rolling. Janis is the warehouse, the Canadian warehouse for the certified balls that we use in Yamana Body Rolling, and she's a teacher, a master teacher of Yamana Body Rolling, and she does so many other things. She's a businesswoman, she's a mom, she's a busy gal. Her business is Body Couture in the heart of Calgary, and I'm just so delighted that you're with me, Janis, and I want to introduce you to my people, my world, and I just really am so in love with Yamana Body Rolling, and I want to hear your story, and so I'm just going to turn it over to you, and I'd like to hear how you came to be working with Yamana Body Rolling and all of the other work that you do there in Calgary. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to see you. So I actually, our worlds intersected through Yamana Body Rolling, and I found Yamana Body Rolling years and years ago in the back of a magazine called Pilates Style, which I actually don't even know if that's around anymore. So I actually started my teaching path through the doors of Pilates, and I still am a Pilates teacher, very much so. I discovered Pilates because I had a knee injury. I was running, I did a running room course, and I was running up and down hills, and I wish I knew then what I know now about my own body. I didn't grow up being an athletic person, but I kind of found running, and I fell in love with it, and maybe a little bit fell in love with it too hard because my muscles actually were not functioning properly. So I did this kind of circuit where I went to a chiropractor, and I went to a massage therapist, and I went to a sports doctor, and I went to a traditional medicine doctor who actually suggested that I take a string and put some rocks on it and do these, quad exercises. And that didn't make any sense to me. So I was kind of on this seeking path. So I was looking for solutions for my body. And this was in the early 1990s. And I walked into the only Pilates studio in Edmonton, and it changed my life. It actually changed my whole life. And that's where I actually found relief for my knee. And again, if I knew then what I know now, I would have realized why. It's kind of, the muscles around the pelvis, etc. But I immediately felt like I wanted to teach the work. So for years, I was kind of an early vision boarder before we used those terms. And I would put little pictures of Pilates, and I wanted to own a studio. But I went on a different life path. I had an entirely different career. And I ended up moving to Toronto and following that path of that career. And when I was about to leave Toronto, I was moving to New York. And I did that very much on purpose. I actually evaluated where I was at, and the world's largest global Pilates brand, Stop Pilates, is based in Toronto. So I made a decision at that point that I either had to kind of take that Pilates dream off, or I had to move it on. And so for a year, every night after work, I would ride my bicycle a couple of kilometers, literally straight up a hill, and I went and I did my Pilates training. And that is amazing functional exercise. There is emphasis on the core, there's emphasis on stability at the joints, and it was really a life-changing exercise discipline that I still use with my clients. But back in those days, most of the people in my training were dancers. So generally speaking, I do not have a very coordinated body. I don't kind of quickly take to exercise. I have what I call kind of an exercise-resistant body. I almost have body dyslexia. It takes me a while to kind of deconstruct an exercise, build it back, and understand it. And I subscribed to Pilates Style magazine, and in the back of Pilates Style magazine, there was an advertisement for Yamuna body rolling, and I don't know why it kind of jumped out at me, but it really did. And that, again, kind of changed the trajectory of my life. I actually got a call from Pilates Style, and they wanted me to model for a story, and it was Yamuna body rolling. And I actually didn't end up doing this story. Yamuna did it, but I looked more closely at what it was. And all of a sudden, that's became the next path. So I ended up moving to New York, and it was completely happenstance, but the Yamuna Body Rolling head office on Perry Street, which has since shuttered, was right down the street from my home. So I went and did the same thing that I'd done in Toronto. In my off hours, I would go to the head office and I did my training. And what it really did for me was combine, I felt always that I was really stuck at my joints. I couldn't move my joints into that open position that a lot of the dancers could. I could break down those movements into something that gave me more fluidity. It made sense in my body. And so that was really the start of how I started down this path. So it was 15 years in the making of magic.
Well, many Pilates teachers come to the work. That's what I noticed right away. Many dancers, so many talented, skilled body workers, practitioners, professionals come to this work, and that really just speaks a lot to the credibility of the work. So you've worked with Yamuna. Tell us what she's like, because I've not met her. I adore her. I'm so grateful to her. She's so personable. She comes on our pages, in our groups, and she talks to us, and I just love that about her. But what's she like?
I do love the fact that she engages with us directly as practitioners. I have probably 6 or 7 different certifications in both holistic nutrition and exercise. And I will say she is definitely the only one that engages that much and on that hands-on level with her practitioners. I think that Yamuna is really a visionary, and that's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but she really has this incredible knowledge that's just so far ahead. When you really look at it, I mean, she's been doing this for 40 years, and even back in the 90s, that was just so far ahead of everything else that everybody was talking about, and the world kind of catches up, but she's already, 20 steps ahead. So when I've been around since 2006 in that world, and just the volume of material that she's able to create and keep moving and keep inventing and keep the whole body of work just kind of advances continuously in this stunning way. It's incredible.
Stunning, elegant, visionary. Those are all ways that I do think about her. And it's amazing to me. In my classes, I tell people too, I said, she continues to come up with new ways to work in the body on a ball. It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. So coming to being in a business, you talk about your business journey with, and like you say, you have other modalities. How do you work with people? Because you don't really teach classes. Is that right?
I do not. Yeah. So from early, I think it probably comes because of my own struggles with my own body. If I get plunked into an exercise class, there's a high chance I'm clumsier, I'm less coordinated, it takes me longer, I'm kind of in the back trying to figure out what the heck's going on. I discovered that my joint movement isn't maybe the same as other people's, etc. So I never actually connected that much with group fitness classes myself as a student. But from day one, because I had another job, and this was really a passionate hobby of mine, discovering the body, discovering my own body, working with my own body, I always just worked one-on-one with my clients. So I've never really had, I guess I've had a little bit of experience teaching groups, but what I really, really, really love is one-on-one work. I think that's where you can get really into the body. You can discover those individual foibles. I was talking to a client this morning, and on the mental health aspect of life, everybody goes to their own therapist. It's kind of one-on-one. But when it comes to bodies, kind of fitness culture does the opposite, where we tend to skew towards groups. But our bodies are as individual as our minds. So that's where my work, that's just my own personal passion, to work one-on-one with people.
Well, and you have a fabulous studio. Calgary is one of my favorite cities. I used to live there, and if I move, I probably would live in Calgary. But you're right downtown in the heart of the city, in a grand area, a beautiful building. And how can people find you if they're in Calgary, and what would they expect to experience when they come to see you?
Because I work one-on-one with people, they can expect to get one-on-one treatment. So I have worked with people from a very sedentary range of movement to former Olympic athletes. So sometimes people think that my business is just for kind of that more sedentary person who doesn't like exercise. I do specialize in people with body pains and aches, because I just love kind of problem solving that. But that doesn't mean that it's for people that don't move or who don't value exercise. So it's kind of the whole range. And basically, someone walks in the door, we get moving right away, and then we do a combination of mobility exercises. That does include, in my mind, that is Yamana body rolling. We get the body open, we take compression out of the joints, we realign the bones, we do all of that deeper work at the same time as we're trying to get better movement in the body. So I do incorporate Pilates, I do incorporate some strength-based movements, but it just depends. Everybody is very different in terms of what they want and what they're trying to achieve in their life. My goal is to take the person and give them the body that they want to be able to do the things that they want to in their life. So if that's really active, then we're going to work towards that more active lifestyle and active life. It might be a little bit more strength and Pilates based. If they're looking to maybe just walk more comfortably or be able to garden, then we do different work.
Mm-hmm. So do you see any trends happening with people? Because I know in my work I see different things going on with people, and I wonder if there's something that stands out for you in general with people.
I think that in recent years there has been more of a discussion between mind and body merging. People are now comfortable with the idea that stress and emotion is going into the body. I think that people are comfortable with the idea that everybody's bones aren't the same in a different way than I saw even 5 years ago. I think the fascial movement has changed things, so people aren't necessarily just battering their bodies in cardio classes. They recognize that you have to also do some of the other body sustainability work, and that's where you and I have our Yamana body rolling to give to people. So I see the world opening a little bit, where there is more of the merging between what used to be considered holistic health and movement, and that's become a lot more mainstream.
Mm-hmm. Well, even in the yoga studio, right?
Yeah.
Are you a yoga teacher?
I am.
Yeah. And myself also. So I find doing the Yamana body rolling workshops, I'm able to talk to them more about breath and more about alignment than when I teach yoga in a studio, because of the time frame, right?
Absolutely. One of the things I actually love about Yamana body rolling is that it's experiential anatomy. So the person can take the ball and put it into their body, and they can feel different sensations. And it's a lot about exploration. So I like to tell my students that we're always told to listen to our body, but at no point, usually in anybody's life, do they have anybody telling them what their body's actually saying to them. So, in money, we have financial planners, we've got mental health professionals. But when it comes to our bodies, kind of the broader fitness culture just says harder, faster, more. But we're not given those kind of more subtle languaging for the body. And that's part of what I love about Yamana body rolling, because it translates through to yoga, it translates through to Pilates, it translates through to just walking down the street.
You're exactly right. I really appreciate what you're saying. And for those of you watching, I hope that this is connecting for you also. I never set out to teach Yamana body rolling.
Neither did I.
I am a psychosomatic teacher, and I just knew that this was the mind-body connection purely, that a tool that I could use in my certification course to teach my psychosomatic students how to feel it in their body. And I also say the balls are pure emotional release without having to go into the story. So I really appreciate what you're saying. So coming back to building a business around all of this, because there are so many practitioners, therapists that are watching this. So how you've been building your business over 15 years.
Yes.
Do you find that it's getting any easier, or what's your biggest challenge these days? What do you find is, that's a
great
loaded question.
It is easier because I spent the first, a lot of people just kind of want to go from A to Z with it. I did this part-time for 6 or 7 years. And even then, the jump off the diving board was a tremendous adjustment. I did that by moving cities, moving countries. I had a brand new baby. So I was in a new city where I didn't know a lot of people, with adjusting to motherhood. So the first few years of this business were not easy. They were kind of hanging on to the side of the swimming pool and just trying to not drown. But it allowed me to really find what I love and find my passion. I was really strongly, I wanted a private studio. And when I say private session, it means that this is like a little tiny jewel of a space. It's only 400 square feet. So you're literally in here with me one-on-one, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something that felt more like an apartment than a gym. So I created something that maybe for consumers was a little bit, especially in Calgary, we just don't have a lot of spaces like this. So it took me 5 or 6 years to kind of get my name out there and to get that concept out there. And it definitely was, year 5 was very, very trying. I considered actually closing my business, and then year 6, it just changed and shifted again. And for me, I never want to say that owning a business is easy, because it is not, but I just feel a sense of, I'm grounded in it and more confident in it. And I have had, the last 2 years, I've had the most kind of stable client base, because they now really understand what I do and why I do it. And they are matching that vision. They want that for themselves.
Well, I really appreciate what you just said, because what I see with my business clients, and for myself too, is when it gets the worst is actually like a challenge. I say all the dark forces come forward to really push you in the opposite direction, but it means that's the closest you are to a breakthrough. So you gotta hang in there, because what you're meant to do, what you're passionate about, is your gift, and you must share it, because if you don't, then life never is fulfilled, and you'll keep going. So what's your stand for people? Whether it's for other practitioners or if it's for your clients, what is it that it's like, I really believe that. What would you say?
I really believe that everybody has something that they really want to do in their life. And my personal vision, both in myself and with my clients, is let's get your body to a place where that's not hindering you and your body feels good, so that you can go do that. So I generally don't specialize in working with people whose body is their number one passion, because there's very few of those people. I generally specialize in people who actually want their body to function properly, and not to occupy a whole bunch of mental space. So that could mean body pain, that could mean body appearance, but we just want the body to be this neutral place that you can go and accomplish your life's mission. And those things can be transient, they can change, your body's going to change, but we want you to have a functioning body. Otherwise, you're going to put all of your mental resources into overcoming these obstacles that your body is throwing at you?
Yeah, what you've just said a lot. Thank you. I believe that your body is an expression for your life, and what's going on here is what's going on out there. And you're right that if this doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel good, and our quality of life is diminished. So whether your body, actually your body is your business. Whatever it is that you're doing in life,
Yeah,
it is our responsibility. So is there any one tip that you would offer to those in business or in the business of working with the body, something that you've found of value along the way, something you'd like to share?
There's a lot of obstacles to running a business. It is not an easy path, but a lot of what I have found success in is just digging into kind of my own basement and working through things, whether that be emotional stuff or physical stuff. During the course of running this business, I've had some physical pain and challenges. And those are really the things that are going to allow you to connect to clients and to keep going. So just kind of keep digging. And like you said, it's kind of those moments when you feel like you're just about to quit that those breakthroughs actually happen.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, beautiful Janis. And how can people find you in Calgary?
My website is mybodycouture.com, and couture is spelled Couture. I'm on 17th Avenue in the historic Devonish building on the second floor. So the address is 908 17th Avenue Southwest.
And I'll type that in too, just to make sure people get that. And you're easy enough to find, actually, because you're one of a kind. You are the only business like that in Calgary, so you'll be easy to find. And to all of those watching, I hope that you've heard something in here that inspires you in business or in your body to keep going, to find a way to connect with your body, because your health is like your bank account. Nobody else cares about it the way you do, and nobody will care about it or do the work that needs to be done to live that optimum life. So thank you so much for being on with me today. I'll be seeing you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.